ELI5. How come in 2005, the television screen quality looked so good, but in 2023 watching shows recorded back in 2005, the quality looks horrible? One aspect of this is a product of the CRT technology at the time, blended lines and graphics in a way that meant even though you didn't have a high pixel count, you got a better image than equivalent pixelated resolution. This also shows in video games from the era, perhaps even more starkly, as the graphic designers of these games knew the technology they were working with and designed their sprites to utilize this effect. Reminds me of visiting my childhood home. When I was young, I thought it was a large house, but going back there made me realize just how small it was. When you watch shows on what is a new TV at the time, you can only compare it to what you're accustomed to. Then when you update again, you have the same comparison. My house when I was a kid was a 3-bedroom 1-bath ranch style house. I now live in a 3-bedroom 2-1-2-bath 2-story house that dwarfs my childhood home. This depends. 2005 had HD broadcasting, but it was 1080i or 720p. Blu-ray came out in 2006. Unless you were watching something that was recorded with old NTSC analog video, it doesn't make sense. Now if you were talking about old TV shows from 80s and 90s, then I'd agree. How are you watching it now? What is the source? Did you record it? Is it a YouTube recording? 18 years or 4K HD? I used to not get the hype about HD until I got it, and would switch from channel 13 red cable to 1013 HD back and forth until I noticed people's hair on the HD channel. Then backgrounds and anything else was just clear AF. Now you from HD all day every day, I see the difference like night and day, because they weren't actually all that good. You can still get gear from that era, feel free to build a setup and try. There's also the image scaling. Make sure to use integer scaling when playing content back on a modern display. Avoid blurring it as it's being stretched to fit. It's mainly due to the magic of CRT. Highly simplified, the pixels on a CRT bleed into each other, giving a nice smooth effect in color. While a modern LCD can only give a crisp, sharp images. And while it looks nice, the CRT bleed is easier on the eyes. One possible answer is the TV you are watching it on in 2023 is a lot bigger than the TV you were watching it on in 2005. A bigger screen makes quality more obvious. Or if you're watching it on a computer screen, you're sitting a lot closer. It sounds like a lot of people who never saw a show on a CRT television are throwing out their facts. As long as you had a good signal, the picture was fine. Sure, not HD. But sure not the crap that it looks like on an LCD today either. CRT's had scan lines and interlacing was a very clever hack to improve both resolution and frame rate. Modern displays work completely differently, and those old signals cannot be displayed correctly on them. We didn't know what better was yet, so we couldn't compare it. Just like dressing yourself and then looking in the mirror to check if everything fits as good as you feel when you dress yourself. ELI5. I tried watching the E3 Skyrim gameplay release on YouTube the other day. All I could find was a 240p animal for quality video. Could have sworn it looked better back then, because in 2005 you had nothing to compare it to. Because our definition is better now, you compare what you were watching back then to what you watch now. One major advantage to broadcast TV and CRT monitors is their near infinite number of colors, much as analog music has a near infinite number of sounds. Remember the days of PS2, Xbox OG, GameCube? Those games looked good as hell back then. Ever played any recently? Yeah, they look like ass now. It seems you're looking at the best of 2005 shows and comparing them to average shows in 2023. Most 2005 show quality was bad. A 25 TV was considered large. 32 was huge. Today's TVs, with larger displays, stretch out the limited picture information. Your standard grew. And thus your brain adjusted to the new standard, refusing to settle for less.